Now we have a special Faceism report for Black History Month.
Our colleague David Ono joining us with a deep and sobering look into a secret chapter from our nation's military past.
In 1943, poet Langston Hughes wrote, "You tell me that Hitler is a mighty bad man. I guess he took lessons from the Ku Klux Klan. I ask you this question because I want to know how long I got to fight both Hitler and Jim Crow." That poem perfectly sums up the life of a black soldier in World War II. And we call this episode of Faceism The Secret Document.
Castle Agonolfi has been sitting high above the stunning Italian coastline for 1,500 years. There are many stories in its past, but there's one in particular that teaches us about America.
Between Georgia.
Italian historian Davide del Guidice takes me to this ancient fortress where during World War II, an incredible American soldier named Vernon Baker single-handedly did something unimaginable.
He destroyed one German tank and several bunkers.
Baker was part of a segregated African-American unit whose mission was to capture the castle. He set out with 25 men. Almost all were killed, the rest wounded. But he kept fighting, dodging minefields, knocking out machine gun nests and watchtowers, and taking on German after German. Thanks to his courage, the castle was captured and Baker was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross. But with such an incredible feat, why not our highest award, the Medal of Honor?
Did any African Americans receive the Medal of Honor during World War II? The answer is no, during the World War II era.
There's a lot more to Colonel Kowalski Salter's answer, but first you have to hear the history of the black soldier in America.
Minorities in the military have always been an integral part of our military service.
From the Revolutionary War on, the African-American soldier has always distinguished himself with honor, fighting for our freedom, even though in many cases, freedom was denied to him. In fact, one of the most legendary units in our history is known as the Buffalo Soldier, all African Americans famous for their toughness.
Between 1866 and 1891, they were awarded 18 Medals of Honor.
Colonel Salter has a PhD in military history specializing in African Americans. He says Vernon Baker's story is just a glimpse at the realities of being black in World War II.
And so it was a secret document.
To truly understand, the Colonel shows me a once secret document from 1925. It's from the Army War College, which at the time was where primarily white officers in the Army would go to further their military education.
The subject is the use of Negro manpower in war.
It's a hateful study the Army War College used right up to World War II, teaching officers about African American soldiers. It's 60 pages, but its main points are summarized on page 1.
The Negro is physically qualified for combat duty. He is by nature subservient and believes himself to be inferior to the white man. He cannot control himself in the fear of danger. He has not the initiative and resourcefulness. He is mentally inferior to the white man.
It turns back all of the great things that African Americans had done.
Due to this study and blatant racist stereotyping, African Americans weren't allowed to fight until late in the war, and that's when Vernon Baker and so many others proved that study wrong.
They were denied their nation's highest honor, but their deeds could not be denied.
In 1997, after a special review determined 7 African Americans were denied the Medal of Honor in World War II due to prejudice, Vernon Baker was the only one left among them.
And God bless you, Vernon Baker, and God bless America.
At a White House ceremony 52 years after his amazing feat, Baker receives the Medal of Honor. As a crowd stands, finally recognizing him for what he truly is, a hero, this soldier is moved to tears. It took an ancient castle in Italy to teach us about the great Vernon Baker and how character is the one true measure of a person. When the war ended, there are many accounts of our brave African-American soldiers elated to board the ship home, but upon their arrival, the gangplank to shore split with a sign that said, "Whites one way, coloreds the other." The war against Jim Crow was far from over. And back to that study, so to speak, at the Army War College, you think about who it could have influenced. And you look at the graduates in that period they were using. General Patton, General Eisenhower, who then became President Eisenhower. And you wonder the effect it could have had on them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel. And download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV.